Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage is MIKEKINGBIZ, the voice of RVA business media. At MIKEKINGBIZ, we celebrate the idea that business makes society better. On behalf of the whole MIKEKINGBIZ ecosystem, we say a big thank you.
Okay. Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Conversations That Matter. I am your host, Lynn Lewis. I am coming to you from the MIKEKINGBIZ studio. What does he say? High above Henrico County. I am, by way of introduction, I am a certified grief educator. I am also suicide loss grief. Okay, let's do that again. Suicide loss grief coach, as well as the chief empathy officer for Destined to Thrive grief coaching services. I'm so glad that you chose to join us today. I have with me one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, Ms. Rhonda Harris. Rhonda is a foster care recruiter for the Bear Foundation. So Rhonda, would you just briefly introduce yourself, and then we will talk more about how we connected and why we connected.
Yes, ma'am. As Mrs. Lynn stated, my name is Rhonda Harris. I am the foster parent recruiter for the Bear Foundation here in the Richmond, Virginia area. We also have two other locations, one in Virginia Beach and one in Lynchburg here in Virginia. It is not about us taking your children. It is truly about us loving these kids and welcoming them with open arms while they are in our care, so that when they come back to you, you all can come back together as a family unit.
Thank you. So you may be wondering, what does a grief educator and a foster parent volunteer have in common to what makes us come together for a conversation that matters? And I'm so glad that you wondered that aloud. Let me remind you that loss is anything that you no longer have access to, anything that you have been deprived of, that's something that you loved, that you cared about, that meant something to you. That when you no longer have access to it, that's a loss. It could be, but it is definitely not exclusive to death. It could be because of loss of a child, loss as in having to move a child out of a home. It could be loss of identity, loss of friendships, so many things. Again, be reminded that loss is when you are deprived of something that you cared for or cared about. And then grief is the emotional reaction or the response to that loss, how we manage it, how we navigate it, the feelings and the emotions that we deal with as a result of the loss. And it just touched my heart that first, Rhonda, that you work with and are very much a part of the Bear Foundation and all that they stand for. And as I was thinking about different guests to have these conversations that matter with, of course, I thought about you, because I'm not a product of the foster care system. However, I just imagine that being moved from a home, being moved from home to home, that's loss over and over and over again. And so that's why I asked you to come today to have this conversation with me. So first, tell me what was your impetus to become a part of the Bear Foundation?
Well, where I was working prior, it wasn't working out, and I felt that in my spirit. But I was always taught, before you leave, have someplace to go. Mm-hmm. And I had been applying, and the day of this interview, I actually was let go from that position.
Oh, wow.
And it was so funny. I guess they thought I was going to explode or go off. I politely cleaned up my desk, and I walked out with a smile. I was like, thank you, have a good one, because it paid me for an additional month. So I knew I had that cushion.
Right.
And I went to the interview, and I wasn't too sure how I did at the interview, only because of the person at the time who was interviewing me. She was asking me a lot of questions, as in, well, why would you want a pay cut and that sort of thing. And I get where people come from with that, but obviously I knew it would be a pay cut. But I felt in my heart this is where God was leading me to. And probably about maybe a week to 2 weeks later, they offered me the position, and I knew what the pay was. And I said, Lord, you're going to make it work some way, shape, or form, because I need not to be so stressed out when I go to work on an everyday basis. And they asked me how soon I could start, and I thought about it. I almost said, I'll start right away. But something said, no, take some time for yourself. And I started at the end of the month, so I had 3 full weeks.
Okay.
And I rested, and I let go of where I had come from, so that when I walked into there, I felt new. And I did. I felt new. I felt a part. And then once my actual director came back from being on maternity leave, I felt a connection with her. Those that don't know me, I am kind of standoffish until I get to know you, believe it or not. And when you're not sure how people are going to react, I just kind of, stay back. But I did what has always been taught to me by my parents and my grandparents: customer service oriented. Do what you're supposed to do, and people will see what you can do.
Right.
And as administrative assistant at the time, I knew what I was capable of doing, so I started doing it. Just not because anyone asked me, but because that's who I am. And then they saw that I could do it, so they started adding on and adding on. And then last year, when the person decided to leave Bayer, I wasn't even sure I wanted the position. I was like, I'm fine where I am. I'm good. Thank you. I don't need no added stress. And people kept coming up to me. And at the time, I was dating this gentleman. And he was like, why not? Why can't you do it? And I was like, oh, I don't know. We'll see. And I prayed about it. And literally, the 3 people kept coming to me saying, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. When I applied, and I was offered the position the same day that I applied.
Wow.
I thank my program director at the time, because she was the one that kind of helped me to ensure that I stayed on track during the interview and answered the questions to the best of my ability, but didn't go outside of who I was. And I literally was doing my old job, learning my new job all at the same time. But you still I felt a little bit as stressed, but I was like, Lord, this is what you placed me.
Right.
So I was doing it, I was working it, I was trying to make the phone calls, doing what needed to be done, trying to get out to churches, trying to get out to events. And lo and behold, we were able to do what needed to be done for the kiddos that have come into our care.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. As you were talking, Rhonda, and as a grief educator, what came to mind is just when you talked about transitioning from that job that you had before you came to Bayer. That's another thing that people experience grief behind is the job loss, the job transition, the unknown, especially if you've been in a particular type of position for a long time and then go to something totally different. So again, that can be another type of grief and that we often experience. But thank you for what you do with Bayer. So tell us, Rhonda, what sets Bayer apart from other foster care organizations?
Well, we are a ministry. And I know that people, as soon as I said that, oh, you're all church oriented, no, we're not church oriented. Because it is a ministry trying to be a foster parent to kids who are in care through no fault of their own. Our ultimate goal is to get them back to their bio families, if at all possible. But the bio families need to join in with us, do what they need to do so that we can get them back and whole as a family. We don't want to keep these children in care. We never want to do that. We hate to see kids when they age out like that. And then sometimes the bio families don't do what needs to be done. And then our families, most of them are willing to adopt the kids if it gets to that point.
Right.
We also have a separate side that's called our path side, where we do try to reunify the kids even better, but we do it in parent sessions, in visitations, so that they can see, okay, this is what we're showing you. Now let's put into work what we've shown you. It's so not about us trying to keep your children, as that's a big, big myth out there in this world. Foster care agencies are not trying to keep your child. We're not. We're just trying to be a bridge of hope, a bridge of love, and just a bridge to keep you guys together. You know, there are therapeutic foster children, and there are also enhanced therapeutic foster children. They go from home to home to home, and all they want is one home so that they can stay at. And that is where grief comes in with these kids, because, okay, I thought I was going to stay here, but now I'm being moved over here. Now I'm being moved over here. Where am I going to call home? So they're grieving from not being with their families. Then they're grieving for not being with 1, 2, or even 3 homes. And now they're in a new home trying to get acclimated into that home. And that's a lot that a child has going on in their mental brain. And sometimes it can explode. But that's what we're there for, to help mold everyone and to love up on them and to be patient with them and give them the space that they need to grow.
Great, great, great. In case you're coming in the middle of the conversation, this is Lynn Lewis here with Conversations That Matter with Rhonda Harris this morning from the Bear Foundation, and she is a foster parent recruiter. And so we're just having a conversation, just looking at how grief plays a part in the foster care system and how this can impact families and children, both bio families as well as the foster care families. So I know that you've mentioned therapeutic. So Rhonda, do you all work with outside practitioners for your therapeutic treatment, or do you all have therapists and counselors on the inside of the Bear Foundation?
We do have therapists on the inside of Bear, but because the Department of Social Services is ultimately the person that's in charge, we have to go through whoever they want to see their children. So it's several different counselors and therapists that they will say, yes, the insurance will cover this, and they'll go to that person and that person and that person.
That's great. It's good to know that you're not just trying to figure out how to get the children back to their families, but also to that they can have therapy and therapeutic sessions, and that's great. That's good to know. So another thing, and I know this to be true for me, I don't see myself as being a foster parent. But if I want to support the Bear Foundation or any other foster care organizations, what are some other things or other ways that people like me can assist?
Well, you can also become a respite parent, which means that you're only there for a weekend or maybe a week to give the parent a little bit of a break. They may need to go out of town for work or what have you, so you're going to give them a break. If you're like, respite care parent is not for me either, you can be a mentor. You can do a meal for the family. You can even just go out and get Chick-fil-A gift cards or a Visa gift card to say, hey, here's $20, here's $25 to help them go eat somewhere, go and get groceries, whatever that the child may need. Because sometimes if this is the first time they've been in care, sometimes they don't have a lot. And that means that we need to go out and help them get, whether it's school supplies, whether it's clothes for school, the bare essentials that a male or female may need. So you can do those things as well.
So you mentioned respite, be a respite parent. Have you seen that sometimes after persons are respite parents, that they find themselves moving into maybe being a foster parent?
Some of them do, because then they see, okay, I really can do this. A prime example, we have our intern who was a foster parent. She didn't think that she could deal with teenagers because she has 2 girls. And she's like, oh no, I want to deal with just them. And she ended up doing respite for a teenager. And she said it opened up her eyes to say, you know what, they still need the same love and the same affection and the same care that a 10-year-old needs or that a baby needs. It's just a little bit different when it comes to a teenager because, as we know, they're brooding teenagers. A lot of them don't want to talk to you. But if you give them the space to say, I'm here, they'll open up to you at some point.
You also mentioned moving from place to place or from home to home, excuse me, on many occasions. I've often heard and I've seen that the children sometimes they don't have much to personally that their things are thrown into a paper bag or a plastic bag. Have you seen or experienced the difference in when a child can have like a duffel bag or a suitcase to put their belongings into, regardless of how little they have? Have you noticed if there's a difference in their attitude or their demeanor?
It is, because that says that's mine. Not as many come in with trash bags anymore. A lot of them do have duffel bags or book bags or the suitcases, but it says that's mine. That comes with me no matter where I go. And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of these kids like stuffed animals. They love them.
I'm imagining this because, again, that's something that they can carry with them, that's
Yes.
theirs. And I mean, it's warm and fuzzy and something probably comforting. Yeah.
Very, very comforting to them.
Well, Rhonda, thank you so much for being here today. What else? Is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
The only thing that I would like to share, if you have a prayer life, pray that we can continue to be there for our children. You may live in the East End, the West End, the South Side. We're still in the same community. And we have kids out there who just want a home. Pray for these kids so that they can have a better life. Pray for the bio families so that they can do what needs to get done. And then pray for the case managers, not only with the foster care agency, but within DSS, because it's hard. It's very hard to see these kids go through what they're going through. And then pray for yourself to see, is it time for me to step up and be a foster parent or a respite parent? Can I go ahead and be patient and be kind and be loving to these children? And if so, and God tells you it's time, give me a call, shoot me an email, and we'll talk about it.
And with that being said, how should people reach out to you?
My email address is my first initial R, my last name of Harris, HARRIS, and Bear is spelled BAIR.org. Or you can reach out by phone and calling us at 804-288-8210.
Give that information one more time.
R. Harris at Bair, BAIR.org, and the number is 804-288-8210.
Very well, very well. So when you see this conversation, excuse me, if you have any additional questions, you can put comments in there, and I will see that Rhonda gets those questions or comments. One other thing. Sometimes there are organizations, or maybe just a family of people, or a group of friends, or a book club. Is that something that, if they say, "Oh, we want to adopt a family. We can't take them, but we want to adopt a child or a family to do something," are you all able to release, say what? I don't know, the 15-year-old girl or boy, what they would like to have, and that group of people can...
Well, what we normally do, especially with the holidays are not coming up, but it's a little down the road.
Oh, they coming.
It's a little down the road. But we do try to make sure that every child has a gift. And what we do is we'll say AH wants a ball, a pair of clothes, shoes, whatever, and we'll give you that list, and you're more than happy to adopt that particular family.
Oh, okay. What about, you mentioned the holidays, what about like birthdays?
We try to give stuff during birthdays. Sometimes we're not able to, but we do try. As a matter of fact, we have a child coming up with a birthday this month, but they are back with their family.
Oh, that's wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful. I mentioned birthdays because you know that I enjoy celebrating my birthday, and I just think that everybody should, if they want to, should be celebrated or have the opportunity to celebrate their birthday. So that's one of the things that's important to me. So again, Rhonda, thank you so much for coming and having this conversation and matter with me today. Tell the audience one more time how you can be reached.
Thank you so much for having me, Ms.
Yes.
Lynn. You can reach me at rharris@bair.org or by phone at 804-288-8210. And I do hope to hear from you all.
Yes. And again, I am Lynn Lewis, your host of Conversations That Matter. And you can definitely reach me for any of your loss and grief needs or questions. I am at Instagram as Grief Coach Lynn. I am on LinkedIn, Facebook, and where else? LinkedIn, Facebook as Lynn Lewis. And my website is Destined to Thrive Grief Coaching Services at .com, Destined to Thrive Grief Coaching.com. And you can email me. Email is still a viable way of communication at Destined to Thrive at Outlook.com. Thank you so very much for being with us today. Again, for catching us on the replay. And until another time, I bid you well.
This is the night that 10 years, 15, 20 years, you're going to be looking back and saying, I was here. There's an inflection point happening in technology. We get to lead it, and we get to lead it right here in Richmond.
We must prepare existing workers, students, and communities to be able to use AI so that no one is left behind.
The real story isn't AI itself. The real story is what AI makes possible. AI is the new keyboard. It's the new mouse. It's not the answer, it's the instrument. And the more people we hand that instrument to, the more possibilities we turn into realities.
People want to be together when you're making a difference. How can we make Richmond, make the region, and in part, all of Virginia, the most AI ready? A lot of people ask me, do we just want to be the Silicon Valley of the East Coast? The quote everybody keeps on having me re-ask is no. My mission is for Silicon Valley to be the Richmond of the West Coast.
Voices are different.
Yes, they are.
I bet they
I
are.
don't want to hear the high one.
No, I've been married 46 years. I hear that one. I know that one. Yes. That's the one that starts off with, can I talk to you for a moment? Instantly, what did I do? There is some corrective behavior on my part that needs to happen.
But you know what you have to appreciate? We start out real soft. If you don't listen, just gets bigger.
Well, when you start, how many times, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get to it eventually. Eventually. Yeah. And then it turns into there's smoke in the city. All righty, ma'am. Hofheimer, 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
You guys are the staple location. It is the cool location. We did have to talk to people say, oh my God, the parking is hard.
Yeah.
But
the coolest spots in Richmond don't have parking. Let's be honest.
Exactly. And if you wanna have a good time, you might have to work a little bit.
Just take an Uber
and get there and get out and walk in.
Feel like a celebrity. Just
when I look at Harry's, I see all the gorgeous people walking in. I see the red carpet type thing, those ropes. You guys got all the pretty people coming.
They're the hot pink ropes, by the way.
Oh, that's what they are?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 66. I might be past the hot pink rope ones are coming in. All right, ma'am, tell us who you are, what you do, and all the cool things at the Hoff.
Oh my gosh, where do I begin? All right, Natalie, CEO, managing partner of Harry's at the Hofheimer in the Hofheimer building. 3-story building, rooftop bar, Harry's restaurant on the first floor, event venue on the second floor. We have everything from live music, manifesto hour, hospitality nights, DJs on Friday and Saturdays, brunch, sing-along brunch, which is a whole room full of people singing their hearts out to throwback 80s, throwback 90s, the whole nine. It doesn't just stop there. It goes on and on.
It's magical. And so, you know, when you come up the stairs and then you see the room, the one that gets me every time are the hardwood floors. I mean, the floors are just, maybe I'm just old. But
they're old.
Yeah, but it's just something that stands out that makes it. You know,
but the building is 98 years
and it has
old.
that kind of cool feel to it. So when I get up there, you get to the top of the stairs and you see the floors are shiny. It just looks.
Are they?
I'm nostalgic, but they do. See, you may look because you see it.
I know.
All the time, but you know when a person comes and they've never been there before, you see the look.
Yeah.
The look of like, wow.
Well, it's a historic property. It's amazing. Yeah,
it is.
It's amazing. It's not just amazing. It's unique and different, and there's nothing like it. Do you know that the Hofheimer building was the first building in Scott's Addition, and everything around it was nothing but fields? And that thing, where it's kind of stuck between like a 7-Eleven and a huge apartment complex now, it was the only thing in Scott's Addition surrounded by fields. Can you imagine that when you look at it? That's crazy. 98 years ago?
I came here in 2014, and it was like a 360 view that you could see.
Yeah.
And then the building came next door, and like, well, I guess we ain't looking in that direction anymore.
But it's nice. It does cover up the sun, and so it drops 10 degrees as soon as the sun goes over that building, which is really nice for our guests. So thank you so much, Soda Flats, for your contribution to the cooler temperatures in the afternoon.
There was a time when I got here, Scott's Addition was the place people couldn't wait to get out of. Now, you can't get in here. You cannot get Scott's Addition.
I guess you haven't been there on Friday or Saturday night at around 11?
I came from a college town, so shout out to Penn State and Happy Valley. That's what Scott's Addition is. This is a college town right here. People just walking and they're not walking in a straight line.
Well, we have a line down to Arthur Ashe Boulevard at 11 o'clock on Friday and Saturday.
That's young people stuff.
Well, I know. I'm not there either.
They're telling you. The books are showing you what the activity is. I was one of yours. I was like, wow, congratulations.
I'm going to be there this Friday. I'll see it for myself. But yes, I hear about it.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm too old for that too.
Yeah, I got some miles on me. I tell people when me and my wife are out, we're keeping the streets safe until 7.
Yeah.
After 7, those mean streets. I don't know what goes on out there, but report back and let me know.
Yeah, exactly.
Report back at 7 o'clock.
But what we do have is live music for the older generation like me and you. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday nights on the rooftop or wherever. Wherever in the building we decide. If it's too hot, we'll put them downstairs.
Because you have the ability to put people in different locations and have different experiences. The experience on the rooftop is different than when you come down a floor.
So that's the whole thing. So you can go to the Hofheimer building, you can eat, you can have drinks. But people want more than that, right? They want live music, they want to dance, they want to paint. You can paint on Tuesday nights. You can do all sorts of things, but it's about an experience. And do people like to eat and drink and have an experience? Yes. So you can have an experience every single day of the week, except for Mondays, because we're really tired. Because the weekends are really long. And we just want to rest on Mondays.
We had a conversation before that there were times that you had to come in, and let people know, okay, people started having a good time with the music. Exactly.
The city of Richmond knows me well.
Exactly. So you had to let people know that I guess that's the mom voice when it's like, yeah, we're not playing because you guys are good citizens of the community and you support the community in ways that are crazy. Talk about why that's important to you and
Yeah, so over half of our business is supporting private events and celebration events for nonprofits, corporate, birthday parties, et cetera, et cetera. So, for instance, this morning when I was getting ready, I got a call from my celebration manager saying, hey, we want to have the Junior League of Richmond utilize our loft to bring in women who want to pull together gowns and prom dresses. They just want to use the space and also have an opportunity to do a wine tasting, but also collect all these gowns for their nonprofit. And so the way we see it is we have 14,000 square feet. One is a restaurant, rooftop, and then a whole second floor. The second floor isn't being utilized, then why wouldn't we let you or Junior League of Richmond come in and use it, or an art gallery, or things to give back to the community? Because let's be honest, most of the time people just are looking for space to do something really cool in the Richmond community that brings people together and impacts the Richmond community.
A couple months ago, I had a program, the Women's CEO Conversation, The Price of Success.
Where was I? I'm sorry, I know.
That's what happens when you
Next
get busted, ladies and gentlemen. There's a price that women pay that men don't pay.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is, I met a lady one time, she said, my husband is a fine gentleman, but he wears one, maybe two hats. You know, we can't put too many things on him. I'm sitting with the lady interviewing her. Her phone is blowing up. It's her daughter, knowing that she's on the radio, calling her. She says, "Is your dad there?" "Oh yeah, he's in the room next." "Can you go talk to him?" I'm like, "No. Why go talk to the assistant manager? He doesn't make policy. He barely knows." I was in the house all my kids forever. I said, "When did that happen? Like, where was I at? You were there?" I'm like, all that went on. And what is the price of success for the woman who has to be out there? I mean, you got to go do to put on the hard hat when you're dealing with men.
Well, we just
people.
suck it up and we hire good people.
You got people here.
These two gals sitting across from me.
How do you, when we talk about that, how do you set good culture in an organization that you're able to hire and retain the best talent?
Natalie has to shrug off her stress and learn to just have fun and relax and enjoy it. Because the stress will eat you alive.
How long was it before that you were able to leave and not constantly be on I gotta check, and let your people do their thing? How long did it take?
There's no timeline. It's when you find the right people that you can trust.
Do you know it?
Yes. Okay. And you know when you know that you inevitably have an instinct that you're not going to be able to trust somebody, you're always right about your instincts.
Gotcha. What is the vibe at the at Harry's on the weekend when the beautiful people are there and people are trying to get in there? What's the vibe of the place?
Color.
That's what it is.
It's crazy.
Thank you, Natalie. It's here. Natalie, can you take? Can I have my mic?
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike King here, coming to you from the MIKEKINGBIZ Call Federal Icon Commercial Real Estate Media Center, high above Henrico. Today with us, we have the one and only Monica Rao. She is a spiritualist, a speaker, an influencer, as well as a practitioner of, it seems to be all things good. You are a channeler too, which I thought that was kind of interesting. Alrighty, ma'am, tell us who you are, what you do.
Hi, my name is Monica Rao, and about 15 years ago, I had a near-death experience, which then changed the course of my life. And what I do now has really, come from that. And as Mike mentioned earlier, he said I was a channeler. And that's a gift, that's an ability that opened up from my near-death experience. Now I'm able to connect to the divine energies and share this beautiful gift with everybody and help really just humanity keep ascending, growing, because I think we are at the brink of something amazing happening. This moment energetically where everybody is in this common space where we are ready to move out of the old ways of being, thinking, sensing into this newer new earth, as a lot of people have talked about this shift that is occurring in humanity now, and each one of you is a part of that shift. And so, I know that this is the reason I returned back in this same body, to sort of bring that energy out and help people grow. This is really why I'm doing what I'm doing. And as Mike said, I'm also a channeler, but of course I also work with clients, all kinds of people, kids, people of all backgrounds, CEOs from all walks of life, really. Doesn't matter who, it's a big audience, but everybody I think is ready to make that jump and make that shift.
Monica Rao, the one and only here. Oh, you're going to see, it's an honor to welcome her to the MIKEKINGBIZ Media Network. Oh, she's going to be on the program weekly. Sometimes she's going to be talking to me. Sometimes she's going to be talking to others. Sometimes she's just going to be sitting here on her own, just dropping nuggets of knowledge. Ma'am, you just said a lot. Now, you said the 15 years ago. So
it was 2010 is when it happened. Okay. Yes, right.
That was a near-death experience. It changed you. But clearly, from our conversation, you had some stuff going on early on. You were able to see things that a lot of people, they can see, but you said people have that intuition in them.
Yes.
But sometimes they do not dial it in. Or like I say, sometimes people are scared of the things that they don't know.
Precisely, that's correct. So I this is something I've understood from my childhood. Really, I've had this ability to sort of tap into energies that I didn't know exactly at that time what that meant. I had no idea what that meant at that time. I just thought that everybody could do it. So as a little young child, people would walk into our homes, or I'm somewhere out. I would just know, if they're sad, if they're happy, if a specific incident occurred just prior to our, making contact, or it could just be that I just knew something about them that was very not secret necessarily, but something that was not well known out there. And so sometimes I would ask them. Sometimes I would just empathically at that time, I didn't know what that meant, but I would just feel them, and I'd feel sad for them, or I'd feel happy and joy, and I'd just communicate it that way with them. And they'd always be a little bit like, how do you know this? Things like that. So, but the good thing is my parents were very supportive and encouraging. And when I would say something like, this particular aunt is coming over, or this was back when we didn't have cell phones and we didn't have pagers and even phones. Some of us had the phones in our homes and some of us didn't. So that created a sort of a platform for me, and maybe others also, to explore that, tapping into the unseen. And so when I think that's what's missing in our world right now, is because we're so, cued in and so much wired to these wireless, it's funny, wired to the wireless devices.
Wired into
right?
wireless devices.
Yeah. So wired into wireless devices, that we are so dependent upon it that we don't really rely on our own abilities. And that's what I'm here to coach people, is how to tap into that unseen world. It's accessible to everybody. How do we then tap into that so that we understand ourselves better, and then as a result, we understand others?
Okay, so you had parents who were understanding. A lot of times you would get parents who are not understanding. So they're they're putting a little bit of you in a box.
Yes.
They're putting some constraints on you.
Yes, correct.
As a channeler, as a person who's intuitive, can you see that in your kids? Like which one? And at what point do you see it? Like, do you see it at 5 years old or 10 years old? Like, how do you see it? And what do you do sort of to nurture it?
That's a great question, Mike. So both my boys, we have two boys, both my boys are intuitive. One uses it and the other one doesn't. So the truth of the matter is everybody is intuitive. You are, everybody is. Mike, you are, everybody is. Everybody's intuitive. So, but I think it boils down to how many of us are actually leaning into it versus not. So, make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does make sense. So now, the one who's intuitive, does he look at his brother and say, just kind of like, he may say, I don't think we should, and he doesn't know exactly why,
Right.
but the feeling is there. Because like I said, I did come from that, it's here, I can see it.
Yes.
And even the religious part, it teaches you, to believe in faith and all those things. But also outside of the religious
Right.
realm, it turns into, if I can't see it,
It's not there.
it's not there.
Yes,
And
exactly.
then over the course of time, over the last 45 years of being around and married to a person who is intuitive,
Yes.
you kind of start to see
Yeah.
you're not as good as the person who's there. You miss some things, but I'm a lot more intuitive than I was before. I think one of my sons is more than the other,
Yeah.
and he's the younger one, and it's always would be like he always seemed older
Because he listened. Yes.
yes.
Yeah, and my younger one is that way too. He's very intuitive. So when the two brothers would, back when they were growing up, one would say, let's do this, let's do that, the older one. And the younger one would say, I don't feel like it. And the older one would look at me and say, why does he keep saying I don't feel like it? It's because he's listening to his instincts, the feeling. So the feeling and thinking, that's how when I'm coaching clients, I'm always making that distinguishing. I'm just helping them understand feeling can be in the mind also. Feeling can be in the mind also, but it's usually people associate feeling with the heart. And so when my younger son was telling the older one, the brother, I don't feel like doing this. And the other brother might have go ahead and done it, but maybe then the outcome wasn't that good. And he'd be like, oh, you know what? It's good that you didn't do it because this didn't turn out this way. Yeah. And he just knew it because he just listened to his gut and he didn't do it. And he does it to this day. He's always listening to his gut. And the older one has the ability and he can do it when he's, sort of tuned into it. But most of the time he's in the mind, he's very analytical. So if you're an analytical person, you're always processing, analyzing, you're definitely in your mind. And that's when you can, it's like, remember, it's a very funny story, but everybody has been through it. Do you remember the times when, you were in school and you took those multiple choice questions?
Yes.
Okay, this is a great example because when you studied well and you see those 3 or 4 other options, A, B, C, D, E, and you feel instinctively it's A. And then you start thinking about it and you're like, no, maybe it's B, no, maybe it's C. And then you go against the first one and then it's incorrect. Have you all been through it? I'm sure you all have.
Yes.
I have. Certainly. The times when I haven't listened to my instincts and I know the answer is A. And I think a little bit, I say, I'm always wrong. Every time I go into my mind and I think, I'm always wrong. So I always guide people. The first thing that comes up, that's the correct one. That's your instinct telling you, boom, that's it.
My wife, she starts off with first thoughts in the morning. Before you get, now I always was a morning person. It's the energy.
Yes.
The world is clean.
Yes.
All those things.
Exactly.
That works a lot different when you're younger. As you start getting older,
yeah,
you start getting a look more apprehensive.
Yes.
And all those things.
Right.
Mike is here. Monica Rao is here as well. So Monica, we explain what people are going to get when they tune into your show.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to have to have this opportunity to be on this show here.
But this is the Monica Rao Show.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So wonderful to be here. What you will have each week, I'll be here each week, and I'll be sort of channeling the entire time and sharing with everybody just tips and tools on how to be more aware of yourselves. So that's the first step. I think is just beginning with becoming more self-aware. We can't really be sort of tapping into other spaces until we know ourselves the best. So each time I'll be sharing nuggets of guidance, maybe information, divine guidance. That's the best thing I can say right now, is to help you all sort of get to the place where you're destined to go. So whether you're skeptical or whether you're believer of this, it doesn't matter, because the world is shifting, the world is changing. We might as well just jump into it as the frequencies are changing,
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so here we go. When I asked you a little while ago about the near-death experience, and there's a lot of shows that happen, and a person says, I was walking to the light, I could see my body, all those things. Inquiring minds want to know. So when you came back, I asked you, that was a life-changing experience? Because my mom would say before, she said, if you don't think today is a good one, try missing one. You know, it's kind of like you won't look at it the same anymore.
Yes.
Were you changed immediately, or was it an evolution of time?
That's a fantastic question. It's a great question. So when I had the near-death experience and I was thrust into that light, at the second or the millisecond when the light touched me is when I know that was a changed moment. But then to explain it in such a way that most minds can understand it, then returning back into the body or making that shift back into the physical state, I was already changed, but differently changed. Now I had to really take all of those changes and assimilate into the body I am now, and also living into the world that we all share together. So that shift and change took place over time, which is less talked about, but I'm always happy to share that, because it's so important for everybody to know the importance of doing this self-growth work.
Okay.
Right? And that's what I do with clients, is to coach people how to grow. And you don't have to have had a near-death experience yourself, because it's not possible that everybody has that. But we don't have to wait until that moment.
Okay.
Right? But everybody can start on that growth journey, the journey of growth, where you are. And it may take years, it may take lifetimes, but hey, it's good for you to start it now. Right?
As a channeler, do you journal?
Do I journal?
Or do you write things down?
I don't. And there's a whole different, I could go into a big discussion about that, but journaling is something that happens more on this three-dimensional plane because it comes from the mind. So I start to not do that. So I don't do that. And when I'm coaching clients, I guide them into it, because that's a transitionary phase into this other realm where I'm working from, where we don't have to write anything down. It's not necessary. It's in the ethers rather. It's right there. So if I need to know something at the right moment, it'll tell me. That's powerful, isn't it? But I think most people, I will urge them to start journaling, because that's the opening. It's that bridge to this space.
There you go, Monica. That does make sense. Monica is going to be here with us weekly, giving you that information. Ma'am, how can people reach you out there?
So the best way to reach me is is going to my website, which is www.graphoria.com. Graphoria is a blending of two words, marriaging of two words. Yeah. Graph comes from graphics, because that's my previous field. I was a commercial artist, graphic artist. Back then, I'm now an artist. I dropped the graphic, I dropped the commercial, I paint for fun, because I love to do that. And then the other part is phoria, which comes from euphoria. And that's something I experienced in the near-death experience, in the out-of-the-body state, when I was dealing with tremendous pains and a multi-organ failure. And through that experience, when I left and went into the light, I experienced complete and total euphoria. So I married the two words, graph from graphics, phoria from euphoria, and there comes Graphoria. So if you go to graphoria.com, you'll see my email address there, and you can email me at graphoria@graphoria.com or Monica_Rao@yahoo.com. So both ways you can reach me.
There you go, folks. Make sure you tune in. Monica, and on top of that, you know some cool people too. I know you got to go, but this one right here, we talked about having an influence in a person's life. Mm-hmm. You influence them, they influence you.
Yes.
There's a chance meeting, and years later, you changed a person's life. You would never know. A lady reached out to you from years ago. And ladies and gentlemen, when I say an email was a book, it was a book. But it talked about, you may not remember, but you changed the course of my life. And I said to you, you have to go back and try and remember, one, that day, that person, and what did I say that really changed them. It became important enough in their life that they had to find you years later.
Yes, exactly right. Yes, this is a true story, and there's so many countless stories like that over the years that I've been doing this work. So much as even being in an airplane. I've had an experience, many in an airplane. A woman was sitting next to me. We were on Air France or something, and this lady was sitting next to me, and I could feel her as she was sitting there. And I said something to her, and she burst out into tears. And at that moment, she needed something from me, which was love. And that's all I was able to give to her. And we still stay in touch. I was in Paris the other day and reached out to her. She came and met me. It was wonderful. So, I mean, you just never know the kinds of people that you will touch. And it's not just me or Mike that are doing these things, but each one of you also is in that space where you have the ability to touch somebody. So never underestimate the quality, and never underestimate the power of the divine that exists in each one of you.
There you go. Words well spoken, Monica Rao. We'll talk to you soon, folks. Thanks.
When you have to make financial choices, it's nice to have a partner to help you make the right call. That's a great idea. Let's do this. Call Federal Credit Union. Your best call.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we do here. We showcase how business helps society be better, and this is how you do the business thing right here. So it is always an honor to have family members. This is talking about this is black business, this is black family at its best right here. Families out there making it work.
At Jenny King, we get it. You need a reliable cleaning partner you can trust. With Jenny King, you're partnering with local business owners backed by over 55 years of expertise. Call or visit jennyking.com today.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage is MIKEKINGBIZ, the voice of RVA Business Media. At MIKEKINGBIZ, we celebrate the idea that business makes society better.
On the Mic with Mike, coming to you from the MIKEKINGBIZ, Call Federal Credit Union Icon Commercial Realty Group, coming to you from high above Henrico in the studio. I got the man with me all the way from the great country of Emporia.
Great country, the city. The city.
It's not that far.
It's the city. It's still the city.
But it ain't that far.
It's not a country.
Because people already talking about, we got to go down to Emporia. It's a long way.
It's 1 hour.
And as you say to me, it takes 1 hour to get from Chesterfield to Short Pump.
Exactly. It took me 1 hour, 18 minutes to get here this morning.
There you go. From Emporia, Mr. William Johnson, city manager of the great city of Emporia. Welcome back, sir.
It's always good to be in your presence. Good to be on your show.
It's good to have you back in the city. So, sir, tell folks what you do. And then we got to you got a lot of things happening in Emporia.
My name is William E. Johnson III. I'm blessed to be the city manager for the growing metropolis of the city of Emporia. I've been in this business for 30 plus years, and we're trying to do some things different in our great city.
There you go. You are not hard to find either. 95, there's Emporia right there.
If you're going to Boston, you're going to Charlotte, you're going to Atlanta, you're going all the way down to Florida, you come right through Emporia, Virginia. And our exit 11A and 11B, there are 60,000 cars every day that come through the city of Emporia, as well as exit 58 that leads you to either 85 or you're going east towards Tidewater, Virginia Beach area.
That's right, the city of Emporia doing some big things down there. Give us a snapshot of what's happening there. Oh, and one, we'd like to thank you also for being a sponsor on the Mic with Mike. Thank you, sir, and to your team.
Oh, yes, and the team is great. Let me start with the mayor and city council. We always appreciate the opportunity they give us to use the taxpayer dollar to promote and market our community. My co-champion for economic development and community development, Ms. Shanita Beck. We're going to be kicking off some Main Street redevelopment, boom program, business opportunity on Main. We're working on some grants right now to redevelop the old high school auditorium right across the street from City Hall, across the street from our farmers market, to create a business incubator space.
One of the things that when we were down the last time, and we're coming back more on that in just a little bit, business owners were talking about Ms. Beck reaches out before they even realize they need something. They had said business owners that Emporia is easy to do business with.
We try to do it the right way, and one of the things we try to do is make sure they're aware of all of the grants, incentives, not only for new businesses, board, but the grants for the existing business, because we want them to be around for a long time. We want them to be able to grow. And in this environment right now, small business owners thrive and allow small communities to continue to thrive.
We're in some tough economic times right now. It causes you guys to really be flexible. Talk about what that means, the flexibility of where we are right now and how you guys navigate it.
Well, one of the first things we do, we make sure our staff is 125 employees that work for the wonderful city of Emporia, to make sure, they're well-versed, they're well-trained. And when businesses come in town, we have one-stop shopping. Whether it's a large project or small project, we make sure we get you in, we get you out. Rezoning, it doesn't take a long time, 90 days max. And we just want to give great customer service regardless of who the client is.
That's right. So good economic times, bad economic times, you guys get news is kind of challenging. Emporia still keeps moving on.
For an example, last May of 2025, unfortunately, Georgia Pacific plant shut down. 550 employees, $500,000 to our general fund, and the hardest hit was $500,000 to our water and sewer fund. They're one of our largest water customers. So, but you have to be ready, prepared, have a game plan to strategize to continue to do business.
There you go. How can people get information about Emporia?
www.ci.emporia.va.us. We also have a Facebook page, and we're working on a LinkedIn page.
That's right. All right, sir. Let's talk. We guys got some things popping down there. You guys had a very successful Juneteenth event. You guys have business events that's going on. What's new on the horizon happening?
Well, with Ms. Beck and her limited team, mostly volunteers, we're getting ready for our third annual Jazz on the Hill. This year we have Jay Baxter and the Jam, And I lost my point of the other group, but I'm gonna tell you right.
That's what we do here, ladies. The man's he carrying 2 phones, staying connected.
It's the Switch band out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Ms. Beck, I'm sorry, but that band eluded my mind for a minute, but it's the Switch band out of Raleigh, North Carolina. And this year is going to be on Labor Day weekend. So stay tuned for more information to come out about the 3rd annual Jazz on the Hill.
Let's talk about the second one. When the second one happened, what did you learn that's a little different this year?
Well, you have to market it. You have to have boots on the ground. And the great thing about our events, they're free to the public. Great vendors, great music, great DJs. Not only is it for the south side of Virginia, but we've had people all the way from Fredericksburg, and we're still trying to recruit others to come see our great city because it is a great time, not only for the Jazz on the Hill, but to learn more about Emporia, Virginia.
That's right. And speaking of Emporia, we're coming back. Me and the crew, we're coming back. We're Mr. Johnson right here. So we're coming back to what we do is we connect Richmond to Emporia. A lot of folks up here do not know the opportunities down there. Last year we had a group from Icon come down and they're looking at real estate, seeing opportunities down there, as well as letting people in Emporia know these are some of the folks doing business in Richmond. The date that we're coming back there is October the 7th, 11 to 1. We're calling it at the Emporia Business Summit. We're going to have people coming in, entrepreneurs, local officials, statewide people just talking about all things happening and opportunities in Emporia.
Great opportunity to come and learn about what are the opportunities in Emporia. Whether you're, I tell you one thing we really need, shoe shop, a jewelry repair shop, a brewery, anything recreational, bowling alley, putt-putt golf, all of those things we need in the community for our youth as well as our seniors. But the other thing that we really need, and I'm waiting on my good friend, he works for Icon Realty. He's a good capital brother, Kobe K. I'm calling out again. You haven't been back. But
we weren't going to put him on blast. But we have to.
He got me the last time.
That's right. He came down with this the last time, and he told me, oh, yeah, I got to go see my man, my frat brother. I got to go down. I'm going down there. And what you're saying is, but I have to say as well, when I don't hear from you, I go to my man Kobe K. I mean, yo, what's up with your boy? How come I ain't heard from him?
Been busy, Mike. And
a lot of things happen.
A lot of things happening, and we also lost some marketing dollars this year in the FY27 budget. However, if you want to build multifamily, if you want to build single-family homes, if you want to build townhouses, we need them in Emporia, Virginia. Not only Emporia, Virginia, but the entire 58 corridor. There's limited workforce housing, market rate housing. There's a need. And my last point on housing is there has not been a multifamily unit built in 3 decades in either Emporia, Virginia, or Greensville County, Virginia. There's a big need there. And we partnered with Southside Housing and Community Development on our first-time home buyers program.
They were the group who was there when we were in Emporia last time, correct?
They are so committed that they came in and actually bought a building, and they hosted the event, and I'm sure that's where we'll be again this time.
What they did with that building
is outstanding.
What was that, a bank? No, it was a post office?
It used to be the Independent Messenger newspaper.
That's what it
was. Which we no longer have printed paper, a printed newspaper in Emporia, Virginia. So now it's radio, digital media. We still do a little advertising on the TV station, but as I said earlier, the marketing dollars have been trimmed, but we're still going to make it happen.
So when you're trying to figure out what you're doing, events, all these things talk about the quality of life in Emporia. You guys have to work magic. Like you said, Miss Becca's doing a number of things without staff, really, and she has to, and it's the quality of the volunteers. Talk about what volunteers mean to the city.
Well, it allows us, and some of those volunteers are actually city employees who may get overtime, may not get overtime, depending on the event. But what it allows us to do is share all the great things that are happening in Emporia. Our school system is now accredited. We have a new superintendent, Dr. William Wright, who's been on the job, I believe, about 90 days. We're in process of building a new police station in the city, as well as we finally closed the deal to bring Waffle House to Emporia. And some people may say, why is that good news? because it's a 24-hour operation. And we look at the traffic and the different, you have prisons that are nearby, the hospitals. They need a place to eat when they get off work, as well as, you know, one of our biggest attractions right now is Rosie's Gaming Emporium.
It's always good to have good friends.
Good friends, hard work, and other good friends.
That's what we're talking about down in Emporia. We're coming back, like I said, October 7th. It's when we're going to be down there in Emporia. All the great things happening. So let's talk about some of the misconceptions about Emporia. What's something that you hear all the time, and it's like, no, that's not the case?
One of the things I hear, you better not speed in Emporia. When I got to Emporia in September of 2018, everywhere I went and I introduced myself as a city manager, oh, wow, you guys write a lot of tickets. Let's put that in context. In 2018, yes, we did. We generated over $1.1 million in court fines based on tickets. In FY27, we only generated roughly $500,000. So we've taken a hit in revenue behind that, but also we're friendly. If you don't speed,
you're good to go.
You don't get a ticket. My slogan is, stay under 9, you're fine. If you go over 10, they're going to pull out the pen.
Ladies and gentlemen, 1 second here. We need that one again. Okay, what's the line again?
If you stay under 9, you'll be fine. If you go over 10, we'll pull out the pen.
No better words are spoken. So you come to Emporia, keep it under 9. Keep it at 9 or below.
Yes, sir. And stop. Come and visit we have 2 historic districts. Come and visit. It's a really warm and friendly community. Host of opportunities. We have our EJI Park. We just had a big softball tournament. We're looking to host a few more. We got a lot of things on the horizon. One of the things we just passed 2 weeks ago at our city council meeting, we're creating a data center park.
Okay.
Roughly 165 acres. No, it's not adjacent to a neighborhood. Yes, it's zone I-1, I-2, which means it has to be in an industrial area.
Okay, so the argument you always hear people say is the data center is right next to the house. So you're saying that's not the problem. That's not the case.
That's the case. Not the case in Emporia.
There you go. You heard it from the man one last time, sir. How can people reach you?
www.ci.emporia.va.us, as well as 434-634-3332, and the phone will be answered by a human being.
That's right. We ain't no bots here. We're doing business down in Emporia. A lot of great things happening. Make sure you join us when we come to town. There'll be a lot of
Should we do it?
It's your call. Call Federal Credit Union, your best call for car loans.
This is Petersburg today. This is Petersburg getting together as a family and making sure our residents are taken care of.
Today, citywide, we're providing groceries for our community. The reason behind the food distribution is all of these cuts and food stamps, so we have to make sure that our community is fed and fed well. The need is so broad, but the city of Petersburg has come together to provide and serve. It's all about service here.
Community service never ever stops.
People gave to me.
All right.
There was once where I had nothing, and people poured to me. So I like to give back to others.
It makes other people feel good. It makes us feel good. You know, everybody needs some help at some period of time.
This will occur once a month for the next 6 months, every first Monday of the month, and then in mid-month, we will serve our own senior communities, which are 5 individual facilities.
Everybody need a hand up, not a hand down, but a hand up, and we're here to lend a hand up.
It's what we stand for, but most of all, this is my ministry. God bless.
It started with family. I mean, we all lived in the same neighborhood. We made sure that our neighbors were fed. We made sure our neighbors were taken care of. And when I moved to Petersburg 23 years ago, it's like moving from family and back into a family environment. The arms opened really, really wide for me, and I can't say anything other than thank you, Petersburg, for all you do, and that's why I do what I do.
Let me take this down. Right. We are sent. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike King here with celebrated attorney, Mr. Donald G. We're at the firm, his firm with his name on it. Sir, I would say welcome to the program. Well, welcome to the program, but we're in your house.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for coming by.
Alrighty, so we are the business program in Richmond. That's what people know me for. People know you for being an attorney for a year or two, 40 years or so.
I've got 4 decades behind me.
4 decades.
Yes.
But now you celebrated there, but now on the business side, you tapped into something that business owners, nonprofit leaders would find very interesting. What is that you're doing now?
Now I am working with what we consider to be a platform for health benefits. It's an overlay or a supplemental health plan, but it has tax implications to it. And with that, it does wonderful things for individuals who may be on that scale where they can't afford to go to their doctor sometimes just because of the copay or the deductibles that they have, or they can't afford some of the prescriptions. And this overlay or supplemental plan provides free doctor visits. It provides no deductible for your PCP, and it also gives you prescriptions for over 600 prescribed medications. But what's most important about it is for any individual who is working out here in today's times, they have the ability to get a net increase in their take-home pay because of the tax strategies behind this.
So that helps the business owner and the employee. It's a win-win situation.
It's a win-win situation because with this, the employee gets these freebies, so to speak, because they have a net zero to them, but the employer also has benefits, and that employer gets to reduce their FICA taxes down. And if they're in Virginia, Virginia is part of what's called the National Council on Compensation Insurance, and the tax effect is to reduce their workers' comp premiums, and it does that. And I'm a living, breathing because my firm is on this.
So people are leery, people are skeptical. It may sound too good to be true.
Absolutely. I hear that all the time. But the critical part of it is, give me those minutes to talk to me. I'm one of those personable individuals. I will come to you. I've flown to Kansas to talk to individuals. I've flown to Hawaii to talk to individuals. I've been in South Carolina and Florida dealing with this because it's effective in all 50 states. But if you give me the time to talk with me and allow me to do what we call a census, and that's to show you where your savings are, show you where your money is going and why and how we can help you reduce this down, I think that you can become a customer of ours.
It makes sense. So it is not just for really, really big. Someone may think, it's just me. I got 3 people. I really don't have the bandwidth. We're not a big organization. And you say?
I say to them, whether you are a company that has 50,000 employees or you have 2 W-2 employees, I will come to you because just as you being small, it doesn't mean you have small income, but I still want to be able to give you the experience of understanding what you could be saving with just those 2 individuals, and I'll come to you.
One of the times people were talking about skeptical, sometimes lawyers be a skeptical type. You guys look at things always, making sure that it is something that works. You looked at this and said, this thing works.
Well, moreover, I have read every document that applies to this. I've read the legal opinions from ERISA, legal opinions from attorneys who vetted this through and through and through. And every conversation that they've had with the Internal Revenue Service and the Department of Treasury to vet this and or to make sure they're in compliance with the 2 Internal Revenue statutes that this is made out of. And so, yes, but moreover, what's important is my firm, for the last 2 years, we have been a part of this. And my staff has used it, and we've gone through now 2 tax seasons with it, and my CPA says there's no issues with it whatsoever.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Donald G. is here with us, and the name of the firm is?
The G Law Firm, but the company with the new venture is SGH Business Solutions.
So if you have an organization, so it's for-profit, nonprofit, It works for everyone who is out there.
It works for everyone who is doing their taxes under the Internal Revenue statutes.
There you go. That's the word. Mike King, Mr. G, is here with us. Just make sure you contact him. There's money there. Don't leave things on the table. There's opportunities. You can reach out to the man right here. If it's something you want to question, reach out to me. I will get you to the man. Mike King, ESPN Richard, MIKEKINGBIZ Media, the platform. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Now take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bryan and Stratton College has been making an impact for over 170 years. I'm so excited that our new location puts us closer to employers, makes us more accessible, and allows us to design a campus that is student-centered and meets the needs of our employer partners.
So the question is around location and how this happened. It was a result of a great deal of planning and forethought. It was a result of trying to decide what was the right location for some sort of facility like this. And so when Bryan Stratton expressed interest, I was in full support. This location means a lot. It's near Chippenham Hospital, it's near Powhite Expressway, and it is also near Chippenham. So this location is about as perfect as you can get for a college like Bryan Stratton.
Accessibility is so important to us. We want to ensure that our students, our staff, our faculty, and our employers can get to us. I'm so excited. This is the first time that we've ever been on a bus route. So our students won't have to address that hurdle on top of all of the other things that they're balancing.
It means something to the people of Chesterfield County, especially with the branding of Chesterfield here. You know, I like to always say Virginia State University is the university of Chesterfield. Bryan Stratton is the college of Chesterfield, and it's just a perfect pairing. You know, they're closer being here to where the most students in the region go to, that we try and train and prepare for careers, but Bryan and Stratton can definitely take them to the next step.
Moving our campus was a tough decision. We've been on Hall Street for over 30 years. But relocating to Gateway off of Midlothian Turnpike really cements our future. We are investing in our Chesterfield-Richmond community as well as our students.
It is so important to have Bryan Stratton in our community. You have an opportunity as a student to be able to learn and to grow and to become. I mean, when it comes right down to it, have you lived a life to its fullest blossoming? And what Bryan Stratton is able to do is create that opportunity. So you live your life to fullest blossoming and greatest good.
This is Petersburg today. This is Petersburg getting together as a family and making sure our residents are taken care of.
Today, citywide, we're providing groceries for our community. The reason behind the food distribution is all of these cuts and food stamps, so we have to make sure that our community is fed and fed well. The need is so broad, but the city of Petersburg has come together to provide and serve. It's all about service here.
Community service never ever stops.
People gave to me.
All right.
It was once where I had nothing, and people poured to me. So I like to give back to others.
It makes other people feel good. It makes us feel good. You know, everybody needs some help at some period of time.
This will occur once a month for the next 6 months, every first Monday of the month, and then in mid-month, we will serve our own senior communities, which are 5 individual facilities.
Everybody need a hand up, not a hand down, but a hand up, and we're here to lend a hand up.
It's what we stand for, but most of all, this is my ministry. God bless.
It started with family. I mean, we all lived in the same neighborhood. We made sure that our neighbors were fed. We made sure our neighbors were taken care of. And when I moved to Petersburg 23 years ago, it's like moving from family and back into a family environment. The arms opened really, really wide for me, and I can't say anything other than thank you, Petersburg, for all you do, and that's why I do what I do.
So in December of 2024, the government's final rule in terms of contractors meeting cybersecurity compliance was published, and as of first quarter 2025, we're going to start to see new cybersecurity requirements showing up in contracts at the Department of Defense. This applies to both small businesses, large businesses, prime contractors, subcontractors, suppliers, vendors, all doing business with Department of Defense. The government has developed a new cybersecurity framework that's called the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification Program, or CMMC, and all contractors doing business with the Department of Defense must be compliant.
So you realize you may have been in question being compliant when you got notified out of the clear blue.
That is correct. At Healthcare Resolutions, we were awarded a 5-year contract in the amount of $969 million, almost
short of $1 billion. That is, why did they put billion with a B? Because you know why? That's very big. What does it say about your organization that the federal government awards you that for your services? They don't just hand out billion-dollar contracts to just anyone.
Oh, of course not. We've been in business for 30 years. We have a solid reputation with the Department of Defense. We've done business with Army, Air Force, Navy, Defense Health Agency, Social Security, multiple VAs across the country, Health and Human Services, Homeland Security. We have strong past performance at the Department of Defense and across the federal government.
So once you realized you weren't compliant, all of a sudden, I would guess it was easy. 5 minutes later, you were good.
No.
I was in the Army
all.
for a long time, folks. It does not work like that.
Not
it does
at
not.
all. Not at all. A little bit of history again. About 5 years ago, we were awarded the contract. A couple of years ago, I received a phone call from the contracting officer at Holloman Air Force Base. And at Holloman, this happens to be where some of our warfighters are flying in and out of. Very sensitive area. And we had a little over 100 employees at the time on that particular contract. Contracting officer calls and she says, your cybersecurity scores are not in the system. If you can't get them in the system in the next 30 days, we're going to cancel, terminate this contract. Okay. So we had no choice but to get it together, get our house in order, regroup, and fire up a new IT team. Our company became credentialed under the Department of Defense's Registered Provider Organization Program under the DoD CMMC requirements. There are only about 1,500 of us around the country, like myself, that are certified as assessors and trainers for the Department of Defense. So I would advise people to please move quickly, don't hesitate. There will be a supply and demand issue, and the longer you wait, the more the process is going to cost you and the longer it's going to take.
Okay, madam, talk to us about, sometimes people are leery, smaller businesses, minority businesses are scared or reluctant to do business with the federal or government agencies. Talk a little bit about why, as a business owner, you need to do that. And now we've also realized the ones who are doing it, they may need to be compliant, and you're figuring that out as well.
Correct. You will need to be compliant with these, at least the 15 basic cybersecurity foundational measures. And most of us as responsible business owners are already practicing these 15 level 1 requirements. Like most of us have multi-factor authentication. Most of us have some sort of badging system and a visitor sign in and out sheet. We have policies and procedures around password and password protections. So those basic requirements businesses will have to meet. In addition to that, just outside of the government, let's talk about cybersecurity insurance. Most businesses do not have cybersecurity insurance.
No, ma'am. I hadn't thought about, no.
But you have auto insurance.
Yes.
You have health insurance. You have employees. And we're all just one click away from disaster.
Wow, you're just a regular ray of sunshine with that. But in reality, it is what it is.
It's reality.
If people understand the security portion, which is someone holding your content, your data hostage, and all those things. A lot of times we always hear about big institutions, whether it's city governments, hospitals, but this happens to small businesses every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Particularly within federal government contracting.
Really?
And the whole point of this process is the government has developed this pre-award methodology or assessment to ensure contractors are complying with the cybersecurity framework. Because the last thing you want is for your small business records to be found somewhere in a cave in Afghanistan.
Which is a distinct possibility.
Which is a distinct possibility.
Alrighty, ma'am. So, small business owners who are out there, what do they need to do besides contacting you and your organization? What do they need to do to start on the road of being compliant?
First, I would suggest that contractors get over it. Okay, it is what it is. If you're going to do business with the Department of Defense, this is something that you got to do. First, and then you need to take a leadership approach, a top-down approach, not a bottom-up approach. This is your business, these are your resources, this is your money that's being spent, and you want to make sure that it's done the right way. You need to establish a budget. You need buy-in from your leadership team. And finally, you need to reach out to resources such as HCRS.
No, they need to contact you. You're a leader in this industry.
Correct.
And because you lived it.
Correct.
So when a person realizes they're not compliant, what sets in? Shock and horror?
Shock and horror, yes.
And how long does it take for you to become compliant? So is it something that would take you 30 days if you were diligent? Oh, you had that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends on the maturity of your already existing system. You need to get, initially, I would highly recommend a gap analysis to identify what you have in place and what gaps you need to fill in terms of meeting the cyber requirements.
And a gap.
The right thing was they talked about it was something that made you shift your perspective when you looked at it. And I think it's something that all good design asks us to do. And it's certainly something that this city, Richmond, has done itself. When you look at what people from outside of Richmond might think of us in terms of a role in the Civil War and the former capital of the Confederacy, but then when you come and you actually walk the streets of the city, you realize it's changed so much. This city and her inhabitants have shifted their perspective. And the fact that we are, placed here on Monument Avenue, right where Jefferson Davis was toppled, it just felt like it was so uniquely ownable to us and something we could really live into. We're a home for design, but we're also a place that asks you to shift your perspective. And that got me just so excited because I think that's something that is, you want to galvanize around that idea, and so it has been a really great way to propel us back into this conversation. And going back to, Chris and I feeling like we don't know what we're doing when we realized that really what was in front of us first and foremost was it was a branding challenge. We had changed our name. We needed to reintroduce this place to people who maybe had come like you in 2014, thought the building was beautiful, but didn't know if they had a reason to come back. And so I think giving this fresh point of view was a reason to come back. And then it really just became, okay, if we are about shifting perspectives and design really is so accessible and it's everywhere, like what kinds of things do we want to bring in the building that are interesting for people? So I think so much of the marketing sometimes is really just bringing in exhibits that people feel like they can connect to. And Kristen, give her all the credit, when she was interviewing to be the executive director, she pitched the idea of the exhibit we did last summer, which was Ruined and Refined. She wanted to showcase all of these beautiful remade motorcycles down this long hallway here. She was like, the tension of having these modern machines set against the beautiful backdrop of this building is going to be so stunning. And the board completely agreed. So that's the kind of rebelliousness this museum needs. And so I think that was such a breath of fresh air and something you don't expect to see. And so that really kind of set us off on a really interesting course of what kind of things can we bring in? And, we had the amazing opportunity to bring in Christian Siriano, who, many people know from Project Runway. And I think what really worked about Christian and Ashley, who is the painter that we paired him with, Ashley Longshore, both of those artists really have done a great job of connecting with people and really like everyday people, making everyday people feel seen and celebrated just the way that they are. And I think that has been really their superpower. And I think that we saw that people were really drawn to it and wanted to come see that. The fact that we were able to have something of that caliber that felt like it should have been in New York or LA, and it was here at the branch, and it was only $10. You spend more at Starbucks getting us going in a coffee every day. And here we had this opportunity for people to come see this. But, I think it's been a little bit of, the momentum of changing our vision, bringing in exhibits that are really interesting, but then, hopefully getting people interested that they want to give us money, because a lot of what we've done so far has really been word of mouth or just utilizing our own channels. But I would love to do more. So, yes.
There you go.
Sorry, no, that's it.
Oh, no. That was, sometimes, when you're trying to make something older than new and make it hip, it's kind of like me with Meta Ray-Bans. My glasses. Right in the middle, the message comes through and it starts talking. So then, it's like your granddad trying to work with technology. It's not a pretty thing. So, I'm so sorry. So Lisa Dance, we are here. We've seen some of their user experience. We've seen some guests come here. Let's talk about the part where you find interesting that you said to me, Mike, you got to go to the branch.
Well, certainly. Well, initially, when I talked with Kristen Cavallo, we were talking about wayfinding because, in the old historic building, how do you navigate? In museums, how do you navigate, the exhibits and different things like that? And that's a particular experience. But then you've had so many good exhibits, because like I visited the Christian Sciorano exhibit, the best products exhibit that was afterwards. And then we were talking about the Americana one and examining America as a brand. And that was kind of interesting because the exhibit kind of blurs America as the government and then America as a corporate brand, right? And that was interesting. And I kind of wanted to say, well, how did you all think about that and how to navigating that distinction between America's the brand as a government or as a corporate brand? So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. A lot of stuff to unpack. But in terms of like the actual layout and the flow, so moving, this room actually would have been where you would have been introduced to the branch estate if you're coming for a party. And it's very much intuitively the place that people enter first. So starting with the mythology of America. The color behind me is supposed to emulate like the dirt road, which is, we have cowboys, we have NASA, we have Harley Davidson, we have the open road. This is like the dream element of America. And then as you walk around, you walk into what I call like the reckoning room. And the way that that's painted is it's meant to purposely look like it's still being painted, because the great experiment that is America is still being authored. So that's where you get pieces that, beg the question, like who has been excluded or who has been made to be invisible? Like where are these promises not living up to the expectations? And I think that's a beautiful flow through the exhibit. You asked a second part there. Oh, the blurred lines. So for me, I think that you can't really talk about America. There's no distinction between corporate and government. A little bit, I guess, off script. This is me as an individual, not necessarily the stance of the branch. But looking at this current administration, Trump made $3 billion while being in his second term, which is certainly, an extreme example. But every president usually gets a little bit wealthier to the degree of 1 or 2 million. So, when you think about America and the powers that be, it is both the government and it is both corporations. It's the nature of capitalism. I was chatting a little bit before this about how I tend to get stuck in the negative. I tend to think about, the reckoning portion of that. But what's been nice for me about the exhibit is that story cuts both ways. So like you look at denim, for example, which has, was made to be, a durable material. It was used by the Navy. It became, the uniform of the working class. But then brands have taken something that had utility and was more or less, in some ways like civic and governmental, and has taken it and it's infiltrated high fashion, national identity. So there's a lot of joy in that too. And again, I think there's, if you're looking at like what the brand of America is, we are capitalism. We're both government and corporate. And I don't think we're blurring those lines so much as the lines are already blurred. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, there's a piece down here that you showed me yesterday where it's different brands and they're like brands that are government and corporate brands and that are all familiar, all in one piece. And so that kind of does like sum it up, at least in that one.
Yes. The piece by Phil Knoll, Consumption, it's all ballpoint pen, and it's this conglomeration of logos that, like you said, it's everything from Hello Kitty to the FBI logo, and you know them in equal measure and instantly recognize what those things stand for. And I think you make some really great points. You look at something like the NASA Worm logo, that is a government agency, but that has become a beloved sense of pride and this idea of space travel. And I think you look at like the Artemis space shuttle mission and just like how that felt like such a light, happy moment that we also desperately needed. But then you look at things even like the words written on our currency. And when you really break it down and you look at that, those are, again, those are government issued symbols, but those say something about the place. And what you put or don't put on those says something about us as a country as well. So I think Katie's right. There's really no way to tease those apart because it's such a huge part of our identity and has been from the very beginning. Since the beginning, this has been a radical experience that has taken the world by storm in some ways, and we've done things differently, and it's been interesting to see how that's played out.
And that's a good point, that it's existed. It's not just, it didn't come just from this exhibit. So, and people probably aren't necessarily having thought about that teasing out of it. So this is a good time to think about it. So, Mike has a question.
No, I don't have a question.
Okay.
I'm waving to our guests here, please. Take care, Carol. Have a good one.
Thanks for coming.
Come back and see us.
Well, look, Mike, you usually have a question.
I do, but I got overwhelmed. I'm like, hey guys, see you later. Thanks for. So for folks who don't realize, right before that, a couple guests came in. I'm like, hey, can we interview you? One was an architect. The other dad was an architect. One was from Richmond, and his friend was here. It was just showing the lure and the pull of the place, and just talked about what they were experiencing, why they came to the branch. So they were leaving. I had to say bye. I was raised by, hey, Benita, you got to be hospitable.
Yeah, there's that hospitality.
So, but the one part about it is, I think a lot of times I've never heard it put like that with this, there's the corporate side and there's the government side. And I've been doing this show now, talking to business people every day. I mean, from top to bottom, whether it is, we talk to the governor, we talk to little kids who are entrepreneurs. You never had that part put together that the two really are. And I got to see the exhibit because that's something that we look at. I always say America's an experiment. Look at the Olympics. You see the Australian team, they kind of look, and you see the Chinese team, they kind of look, and England has a little flavor, Canada has, and then here comes America. We're just looking, just coming at it. Look at these guys. Because we have something of everything. I just had a student come in and he talked about the lure of America. It's like, what do you guys think? Back in your home in Africa, what is the question you had? Have you ever met Beyonce? Does money really grow on trees in America? Because that's what the world thinks. Regardless of this administration right now, people wake up every day saying, I'm going to America. The Americans say, I'll go to that place on vacation. But people come every day. And what you guys have done here is amazing. This is, so Harley Davidson at our house in York, Pennsylvania, they have Harley Week and Harleys roll into town. So it is an American brand.
Yeah, the open road, like the romance of that is very America.
Yes,
and also Hollywood, Beyonce, all of that. And, opportunity is a weird thing to talk about that belongs in both rooms because there is so much opportunity in America, but then there are people who have been excluded from that as well. So, I mean,
But the
Yeah,
myth of it is there.
Yeah, the myth of it is there.
To your point about the brown color, it's like, I think that people see that idea of the myth of there's this open road, you can come and be anything here.
Yes.
You know, whether or not that's actually true, that is easier for some and not very easy for others. But that is the mindset that, like, if I have that opportunity, maybe I can become something. And I think that has been what's been such a strong draw for so many people outside looking in.
One of the things about being in the Army, I've gone to a lot of places, always joke and say, America is like teenagers who have money. That is not a good combination. Young people with money, you know, you can do whatever you want, go wherever you want without the constraints of, maybe I shouldn't do. And I looked at that. Yeah, so. All right, so Lisa, where are we with friction points? I always learn from Lisa about friction points, things that make it easier or harder. When you guys hear from the guest, what's something that stands out that said, when I left there, I had the greatest time?
Yeah, I mean, something that I think is different. There's a lot of 250 exhibits out there, and I think Katie was touching on this. A lot of them are like beautiful retrospectives. Some of them are maybe romanticized or glorified, and some of them are very honest and brave. But to your point, Lisa, we're doing something really different here. We're not talking about America as a history lesson. We're talking about brand identity and personal identity. And so I think that what's different about our exhibit is it kind of breaks the fourth wall. I think the people that come and make their way through it, it starts conversations and it begs the question of, like, what do I want to do next? I think, sorry, Mike, my ADHD is getting the best of me and I forgot the original question.
I don't even read. But in this case, she's the marketing person with the details. Okay.
MIKEKINGBIZ, on the mic with Mike, Richmond's premier business radio platform.
Making moves. Judging how you judge it, say we going corporate. Nah, we just corner boys with the corner office. I'm at the cap table, what the splits is. Not that cap table, boy, we live this.
Promoting how business can make the community better. No one does it better than